We are going to continue talking about slope today. We have folded this like a brochure with this being our back. So make sure your name is on it so that you won't, if you do lose it, somebody will track you down so you don't have to restart it. So let's talk about slope of a line. So the first topic that we're going to do is slope from a graph, which we learned about yesterday and the day before. So slope is found by doing rise over run. So remember, rise is the vertical change. So you start at the leftmost point, and then you either go up or down. And then you go right. So that is going to be our horizontal change. And then to find your slope as 1 point, you put it as a fraction, vertical change over horizontal change. So you find this using a graph. Find slope using a graph. And the next one we are going to look at is either a table or a formula. So we are going to use a symbol, which is a triangle. This is a Greek letter in the alphabet, which is called delta. So change or delta y over delta x. Delta means change. So I'm going to write it over here, put the little triangle, and put equals delta equals change. So sororities and fraternities use Greek letters for their the name of their group. So you've probably heard it gamma, 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 delta, gamma, or alpha, chi, alpha, kappa. Like there's all these different Greek letters, and they have sounds like that: delta, beta, alpha, gamma. So we are going to use the Greek letter with the triangle, which means delta or change. So we're doing the change of y over change in x. So we will use this for a table. And then for 2 points, we're going to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Given 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2.
What do you mean by given?
So you're given 2 points, and you label those points. Your first point, you have an x and a y, but since this is your first point, you're going to put ones with it. And then you're given a second point, which is your x, y again, but you're going to label it with 2, subscript of 1 or subscript of 2. Then you're going to substitute in the numbers and subtract, and then simplify your fraction. We will also look at equation y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope. So this is called your slope-intercept form, where you have b is your y-intercept and m is your slope. The other equation form that we could have is ax plus by equals c. That's standard form where your A, B, and C are all just numbers. They're coefficients. C is a number, B is a number, A is a number. To find your slope, you're going to do negative A over B.
So do you just change the A into a negative?
Yeah, so if it's a positive, you change it to a negative. If it's a negative, you change it to a positive. So you're doing the opposite of whatever A is. So the ones that we're going to focus on today are just the graphs and if we're given points. Okay, let's look on this side. So all I did was fold that over. And let's just talk about what kind of slopes these are. So remember slope, dude. If it's going uphill, remember you read it from left to right. So read from left to right to know if it's positive, negative, zero, or undefined. So I would start at the left, and then I see that this is going uphill, so this is positive. So let's go ahead and write puff, puff, positive. Then the next one we read again from left to right. So it's going downhill. So that's skiing downhill. So this is nice negative. This next one is zero fun. He's having to walk across the flat part of the ski slope. So it's just flat. He's having to walk. He's not skiing downhill. He's not climbing up. It's just zero. So on this, it will be m equals 0. The way that you get a 0 with rise over run, let's say I have this point and this point right here. Say I'm just looking at those 2 points. It's going to be rise 0, but run 3. So whenever you divide 0 by 3, we're not going to leave it as 0 over 3. We're going to divide it. So if I say 0 divided by 3, that equals 0. So don't leave it in this form. It should be in m equals 0. And then the last one, slope dude falls off the cliff. He doesn't see it coming. He falls off. So this is yelling undefined. So if you were to count rise over run, let's say we have this point, and then let's do that point. So 0 or -4, 0, and -4, 5. Plot those 2 points. And let's do rise over run. How many did it rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did it run?
0.
If I take in my calculator and do 5 divided by 0, it gives me an error. Divide by 0. You can't do it. So that's why it doesn't equal a number. It doesn't equal 0. It equals undefined. You can't divide by 0. All right, so let's go back to the front and let's fold it over. And let's do our slope on these 4. We're only doing the graph and given 2 points today. We're going to skip the table, wait for that for tomorrow. So let's look at A. We have points on here. So we need to do rise over run. So we start at the leftmost point. You don't have to start over here. You can actually start here and go to there. But let's show our stair step. You can either do straight lines for your stair step or do the jumps. It's up to you. Some people like it just like this. Just make sure you're counting how many boxes, not how many points, I guess. So this would be down 2 and run 3. So M equals -2 over 3. It doesn't need to be reduced. It's already in reduced form. Make sure you don't forget your negative. You know, this is going downhill, so it's nice negative. If you need to write that down to help remind yourself, you can do that. Okay, go ahead and do B, C, and D on your own now. Okay, on B is 3 over 3, which equals 1. And it is positive, going uphill. C, 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's positive as well. So M equals 1 over 4. D, down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4. -2 over 4. Don't forget to reduce that. And so that would be -1 over 2. Okay, so let's move on to using the formula when you're given 2 points. So we have the points. Let's write that at the top. X1, Y1, and X2, Y2. So you're just given 2 points. You're asked to find the slope. So you need to label your points first and then do your formula. So this is my first point, 1/8. So I'm going to label this X1, Y1. Because that is X and a Y, and they're my first ones. Then the second one's going to be X2, Y2. Now I'm going to use my formula. Going to do, it says Y2, right? So this is Y2 minus Y1. You have to put it in that order. I'm using a highlighter. So that would be 12 minus 8 over says X2 minus X1. So that'd be X2 minus X1. So that would be 9 minus 1. You can always use your calculator to do this, or you can do it by hand. So 12 minus 8 is 4. 9 minus 1 is 8. Then reduce that. I can reduce it by 4s to get 1/2. If you're not confident in adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers or dealing with fractions, I would put it in as a fraction. So do alpha y equals, and put that in 12 minus 8 over 9 minus 1. And then when you do that, it reduces it for you, and it's 1/2. Okay, so let's do B. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So M equals, if you want to use your highlighter again, you can. Y2 minus Y1 -4 minus 2, -4 minus 2 over so y2 minus y1, -4 minus 2. And then x2 is -3 minus x1 minus a -6. You have to put in minus a negative. Do y'all remember what happens whenever you do a number minus a negative? Yeah, you end up adding because it's keep, change, change. If you want to put this directly into the calculator, you can. Or if you know that you keep, change, change, then you can go ahead and do it like that. If you're not confident, just put it in the calculator. -4 minus 2 over -3 minus a -6. Or you can go ahead and change that to -3 plus 6. Just be real careful not to put in a negative if you change it to plus. Get -2. If I were to work it out by hand, I would have -4 minus 6 is -6. -3 plus 6 is +3, which equals -2. If you want to write as -2 over 1, that's fine, or just leave it as -2.
Why do you put your x2 before your x1?
Because of the formula.
Oh.
You have to follow the formula.
Okay.
All right, let's look at the next one. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So Y2 minus Y1. So -2 minus a -3 over -1 minus 3. Put that in the calculator or work it out by hand. So whenever I worked out by hand, I got a +1 over a -4, which I can just pull the negative out front, and it's -1 over 4. Okay, the last one, X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Y2 minus Y1. x2 minus x1. You can do keep, change, change. You can put it in the calculator. That becomes 4 plus 1, which is 5. Keep, change, change again. 5 plus 2 is 7. What y'all are going to do, yesterday you got the match my slope. So what I'm going to add to this is use the ordered pair to find the slope using the formula. Okay, so let's look at number 1. If you don't have enough room on your paper, you can write it on a sheet of notebook paper. So we'll look at the first one. So this is, every point is a perfect point here. Every crosshair. So our slope was 1 over 1, which just equaled 1. Then you're going to find ordered pairs. So I'm going to check that off. You can cut and glue if you'd like. If you just want to write it, you can write it. So then what you'd need to do is find your ordered pair that matches this, which is actually the first one. 0, negative 1 is right here. Go ahead and label it on your graph. And 1, 0 is right there. So I have my points, 0, negative 1, and 1, 0. So what I'm having you do is use the formula to find slope, and these should be the exact same. So it's a easy way to check to make sure you're doing it right. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So use our formula. I'm going to write up here. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now write the numbers inside the formula. So y2 is 0 minus y1 negative 1 over x2 1 minus x1 0. Minus a negative, keep, change, change. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 over 1 is 1. So that shows that they are the same, which it should. Your slope is 1.
No matter which one we use, we'll always simplify.
Yep. All right. So that is all you need to do today.